what? My name is Brittany and welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be reading Eclipse for the first time as an adult.
It's Brittany, bitch.
This is the third book in the Twilight series, and this is exactly what happened last time I read this for the first time as a teenager. I basically kind of stopped after New Moon for a little bit, and I stopped buying the books. So this I had to buy this year, and I actually don't even know if I'm going to just donate this one because I bought this used online, and it is much more like weathered than my other books. In a lot of ways, it's actually like in better kept shape, like it holds the shape better, but it's very like weathered, like it was kind of exposed to some elements like right here. Do you see how that is red and that is not? And especially since I use these pretty much for like aesthetic value on my bookshelf, because I also think they're pretty, and it's one of those nostalgic series I'm gonna want to own, like pass on to my kids and show them what an abusive relationship really looks like. It's definitely a little bit upsetting that this is so faded, but like that's what it's supposed to look like. So I might end up eventually buying another used one that's in better shape, and I tried to at a thrift store, but it was hardback, so I wasn't gonna mess that up. So anyway, I bought this used online, kind of disappointed, and I may not even technically read from this book too much because I had the audio for this. And I'm gonna say it again, I really enjoyed the audiobooks for this series. I really like the audiobook narrator. I don't know, I just really enjoy her, and I can speed up to like 1.75 and still understand her perfectly fine. And surprise, I'm actually 53% of the way into Eclipse already. I listened literally all day yesterday at work, and I just wanted to try to get a little bit into the book, and I feel like that always happens where I try like just to get like a smidge into the book, and I end up being like 50% of the way in. I just find it really easy to listen on audio, and I did listen literally all day at work and did nothing else, like, you know, music wise or anything. So I've spent a good hours of my life listening. So in Eclipse, the reason I didn't really want to, you know, read it is because I know that basically Bella kind of chose Edward at the end of the last one, and she's not really going to choose Jacob, who is always my choice, and I'm still salty about that. But in this one, I feel like until like right now at the 50% mark, it kind of hasn't really taken off till like just now, where basically they're finding out that there is someone is building a newborn army. So whenever vampires are newborns, they're very dangerous, but they're also like they're like newborns, they're not very smart. They're very dangerous and lethal, but at the same time, they're not calculated, and they don't really think as well as other vampires, but they are like more powerful. So basically someone is creating a newborn army in Seattle, and we don't get to see who that is for a while yet, but we know, those of us who've seen the movies and read the book already, we know that it is actually Victoria building an army. Victoria from obviously the first and the second book. We still don't know that at 53% of the way into this book. And then I know at the end, I'm pretty sure Edward for sure asks her to marry him again, or they're planning it. I don't remember. I need to reread it and find out what's going on. But I do love Eclipse because we do get to see more of the wolf pack again in this one, and we hear more of like the wolf stories. Every time the wolves are involved, I enjoy this book. The minute it's all about Edward, which is like most of the first half of the book, I don't fucking care, because I don't like Edward, and he's a dumb, controlling asshole, and I feel like he just kind of gets worse. And he's just so overprotective to the point where like, I just want to punch this dude in the face. He treats her like she's like a dumb 3-year-old. She's not a dumb 3-year-old. She's a stubborn, dumb bitch for wanting to be with you for the rest of eternity because you're a piece of garbage. But anyway, I'm going to try and get as far into this as I can, and I'll update you again. Hopefully I'll update you on probably the 75% mark, because now I'm trying to think what else happens in this book other than like the vampire army, and I feel like that's kind of like the only thing that really happens in Eclipse. But I know that I really enjoy Eclipse the movie, so we're gonna see. So I'm actually off to go to a different library to get a library card for a different county, because I really would like some more options when it comes to books. And so I'm gonna go over there and see what's going on my lunch break, and then I'm also gonna go grab a smoothie bowl. So that is how my Tuesday is going so far. And when I come back, I gotta finish work, obviously. And then we're having pasta, and it's gonna be really good. And it's gonna be a very easy, fast dinner, which I love. And I'm gonna see how much farther I can get into Eclipse today, but I'm not really sure because I listened to it like almost all day yesterday on audio, and I kind of want to maybe listen to some YouTube videos and catch up on BookTube at the moment. So maybe I'll have more of an update for you tomorrow when it comes to the book. So I got my smoothie bowl, and of course I always zhuzh it up with my coconut and my granola. I just got strawberries today, so underneath this delicious, it's strawberries in there. Anywho, I'm gonna get back to work, and we'll talk to you later. Happy Mommy's back from her lunch break. I don't have any food for you though. I don't have anything. I'm sorry. Nothing for you. Nothing for you. Except for some love. Would you like some love? Would you like some loves? So I am doing some preparation for our Thanksgiving meal. Here is the chicken. I just took it out. It has been dry brining for about 24 hours now. And then I also hand-picked all of these pomegranate seeds from an actual pomegranate. These won't actually really technically be used for anything other than eating, but I just want to show you because they're really beautiful and it took me like 20 minutes. So I'm also going to be making apple crisp for dessert tonight. And that's gonna be amazing. We're also having mashed potatoes, green beans, and cranberry sauce. And only one of these is gonna be used to make cranberry sauce. The other is going to be used to make the house smell delightful today. And all of this random fruit and onions are gonna be stuffed into this delicious little chicken. Yes, this is a chicken, not a turkey. I don't like turkey whatsoever. So it is chicken covered in garlic, rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper, olive oil, lemon juice. So I'm gonna get started on the cranberry sauce. Go ahead and give them a good rinse first. Drain them off. Now I'm gonna reserve half a cup of these. There you go. The rest of them are gonna go in here. And then add 2 tablespoons of water. You can already hear them kind of popping a little bit. You're gonna add a whole cup of sugar. And then you can use lemon zest or you can use some orange peel. So I'm using some orange peel. Try to stir everything up together. And then you're gonna add in the rest of the cranberries, cook for another 10 minutes and you're done. And then after that, I went on to the chicken and I ended up putting lemon slices all over it. I don't really think that's necessary, but I think it looked really nice. And I think it kind of gave it a really fresh lemony flavor when I was cooking. And then I ended up stuffing it with my leftover rosemary and thyme that I had from dry brining the chicken. And I also added in some apples I had in the fridge. I had like a Granny Smith apple left over and a Fuji apple left over. And I also added in my extra mushrooms that I had. I had some left over from a meal a couple weeks ago and I wanted to use them up. So I put them all in the chicken along with also some leftover onion. I think that's the best part about stuffing any bird you have is that you can kind of put any random thing you have in your fridge in it as long as you want it to taste like that. And then that way I didn't end up using anything new and I ended up using some of my leftovers. And that way I had little to no waste. I'm a really big proponent of using everything I buy, but sometimes it's difficult. So this made that part a little bit easier. And then for our appetizers, we ended up having some baked brie with my cranberry sauce on top. And then we also had cocktail shrimp while the meal was cooking in the oven for a few hours. I think I ended up cooking my 5.5 pound chicken for 2 hours. And that's the completed meal. And it was really amazing. We had some alcoholic apple cider. And then for dessert, we had, oh, look at that. We also had apple crisp for dessert, and that recipe is so good every single time. And then we ended up finishing season 5 of F is for Family. The next day I ended up finishing Eclipse, and so we watched Eclipse the movie, and I'll kind of give you more of my thoughts on it, but my brother ended up giving it a 1.5 out of 5. And so I'm going to fill you in on that, but it wasn't his favorite. And neither was it mine. So as you know, I finished Eclipse, and I think I'm gonna give this 2.5 stars, and let me explain why I think this is actually the worst book in the series. Well, number one, nothing really happens in this book, but I think when that happened in New Moon, and New Moon had kind of a lack of a plot, at least I think you were so drawn into Jacob's honest character that you can kind of forget that there was a kind of a lack of a plot to the end, and it was okay, because especially for those that were Team Jacob, I feel like New Moon was a really good book. But Eclipse just feels so freaking pointless. Like literally nothing happens in this book. For the first half, Bella's complaining about school and she's graduating and she's kind of figuring out what she wants to do with her life. And all she wants to do is be an eternal monster and bone her boyfriend, which I do understand, but it's also really frustrating that she's like kind of made her entire life around this one dude. And I think that's another big part of this, which is really frustrating. She's literally not even herself anymore. She's literally just like an obsessive, compulsive, love-struck idiot whose like only thing in life is to be like with this guy, and it's just really frustrating. She's just way too eager to dump all of her family and friends for this fucking dude that she literally doesn't even know, and it's just really hard to read and root for because I don't care for them at all as a couple, and she's completely thrown her life away. She's hurt so many people in the process, and she's gonna hurt more of them in the future. I mean, this fucking girl needs a fucking hobby so bad. Like, I just want her to pick up any fucking hobby. I think this is definitely the part in the series where she like loses her personality like completely, because at least in like the first and the second one, like she had some semblance of personality, but as soon as this book like happened, it was gone. Like, she has nothing left. She is like a dark, empty husk with only this obsessive, compulsive love for this bloodthirsty monster who just like wants to suck the shit out of her. It's so annoying. How many fucking times can we hear them confess their love for each other without getting bored? Like, I'm honestly so bored throughout this because it was just like them back and forth, like, I love you too. I don't care, dude. I fucking don't care. The plot finally takes off at like the 55% mark, and the plot isn't that good. It's like a vampire army driven by Victoria, who's obviously so upset about the death of her mate James. And so she wants to create this vampire army, like in an attempt to like gain attention so she can like kill Bella. It kind of also doesn't really make any sense. I don't really know if she's like trying to blame the vampire army and the Cullens and get their whole coven destroyed. I really don't know. I feel like that wasn't really well explained. Let me know if you know, because I'm lost. The plot was just kind of dumb in that sense. And then you basically know they're gonna get married, and that's like the entire plot. And I just feel like for like the showdown, which was like 2 chapters, I swear to God, like the rest of this book is just, there's nothing really there, and it's really frustrating. And then Jake turns into like a complete asshole in this book, and he like kisses Bella without her consent. And then fucking Charlie in this book is like, good for you, kid. Your daughter was assaulted and you're congratulating the assaulter. Like, excuse me? That's not okay. And in the movie, thank God that didn't happen, but not happy about it. Anyway, let me talk about the movie really quick. So also the movie was fucking boring. I feel like, especially now that I'm rereading the series and I'm watching the movies like back to back, like kind of analyzing them, the movie was boring. My brother said the same thing, and we identified what it was. So the first movie, he gave a 1 star. So he gave that technically the worst rating because the acting was so fucking bad. But he said the plot was better. And this one, the acting was way better, but the plot was so boring as fuck. And he said the same thing. And I'm glad it wasn't just me. I think that's why I like watching them with him and torturing him with them, because I like to see someone else's perspective, that I'm not crazy, that like, it was just so boring. I didn't even preface it with that whenever I told me we were going to watch the movie that night. This is sadly just like one of the most boring books in the series, and I think it is. I mean, I haven't read Midnight Sun or like The Very Short Life of Brie Tanner or whatever, but for me right now, this is still the worst book in the series, and it's going to get 2 stars out of me. And I think the movie is as well. He gave it a 1.5, and I probably agree. I think the acting was a lot better, but also her fucking wig in this movie was terrible. I know she was filming The Runaways at the same time, so they had to give her a wig, but the wig looks like a fucking wig, and it is so coiffed and like gross. It is just sad. Anyway, I'm looking forward to getting to Breaking Dawn because I think it's a lot better, and the only reason I read it is for a very specific reason I'll tell you about when I get to that book. So I'm excited to get to that and see how I feel about it. I think it's also the longest book in the series, so give me a minute before I go there because I'm still a little dejected after this garbage. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys next time when I get to Breaking Dawn. Bye!